All right, so we're live here on Dodgers Digest. Mike Nelson here with you, of course, on the Monday morning live stream when we're talking Dodger baseball. Of course, we do this every Monday morning. We got a lot to talk about, as we know. We got the Dodgers who just got swept by the Angels for the first time in a three-game set in 15 years. It's pretty crazy, right? 15 years. The last time the Angels swept the Dodgers in a three-game set. As I pull up the chat here to make sure we're live. I know last week we had a bit of a problem with that, trying to go live, but today is gonna be a pretty fun show. We're gonna be taking your calls again. So if you want to call us up, you can call us up at I got the number right here, 719-359-4580. And then after that, you put the code 820-6181-1830 pound. You can reach us right there. The phone number is right there pinned on the chat. So you can come on the show and talk Dodger baseball. What does everybody think? It's been, of course, kind of a rough weekend for sure for the Dodgers. I think it was not the best way to go. Yesterday, the pitch, the reason why I put the three pitchers there on the title today on the thumbnail is because that was the reason why I think the Dodgers got swept, right? All 3 days, the Dodgers just did not have the best starting pitching, going back to Dustin May, Clayton Kershaw, and of course yesterday Tony Gonsolin was not his best. So really the Dodgers didn't have the best pitching. So I go to the comments here, Bearded saying, "What's up, Dodger family?" Waffle with the broom. Yep, getting swept. The Dodgers, of course, getting swept by the Angels. It was a rough way to go this weekend, but the pitching just wasn't there, right? The pitching, I think, was not very good at all, and I think that's the main reason why the Dodgers didn't get any wins this weekend. And I'm really shocked because we know the Angels have had a really rough season. They've been last place in the AL West. It's not like they've been a great team by any means. For them to get swept like that is definitely something that is concerning, but at the same time not surprising because the Dodgers have just not had the best pitching in the early onset of the 2025 season. It's been the team's main weakness, right? It's for sure. I think it's been the team's main weakness. The starting pitching has been a weakness, and it has been definitely something that the fans are, I think concerned about. Dodger fans around the world are concerned this team can really, can they really get it done in back-to-back years with the kind of pitching that they're having? Right? I think that's really the question that everybody has. Also, we got Beard to say the DFA of CT3 and Barnes still surprises me. I hope the best for them. Yeah, I mean, the timing, good comment there, Bearded. The timing of the DFA of both players is something definitely to think about because this week was Clayton Kershaw's return to the Dodgers. He pitched his first game of the 2025 season. Of course, after going down with injury last summer. It was the first time we got a chance to see Kershaw since, July, August of last year, this past Saturday against the Angels. And his personal catcher, Austin Barnes, was not present, right? He was not present, and that's a big that was a big surprise, right? I mean, I think I was surprised that they did it now because, it's Austin Barnes, right? He's been Kershaw's catcher for so long, and they basically just dumped him days before Kershaw's first start. Even Kershaw told the press he was surprised. Of course, baseball is a business, and as we know, Austin Barnes was a non-factor this season offensively. Really was struggling at the plate, and kind of hard to know if his baseball career is even going to continue right at this point. So that's why the Dodgers decided to make that decision to cut Barnes loose, and then CT3, right? Chris Taylor, they let him go because they had to make a decision with Tommy Edman getting activated, coming back. They had to send somebody down, and they didn't want to send Ha-Seong Kim down after the numbers he's having, right? Extremely incredible start for Ha-Seong Kim's Major League Baseball career. It's been absolutely extraordinary, the start that he is having, right? So they didn't want to send him down and they just didn't want to, right? And I think it's a good idea that they didn't, right? Because this guy has been really good. He's been the Dodgers' hottest hitter the last week or so. So yeah, I think it's the right move to not send him down, and they had to let somebody go, and that's Chris Taylor. Chris Taylor, a player that's been another player that's been basically a non-factor, right? Basically a player that really has not done very well at all for the Dodgers. And the last couple years have been a struggle for Chris Taylor, dealing with injuries, and now, of course, no longer with the team. And that's it, right? I mean, Taylor was with the team for 9 years, 2016. Barnes was with the team since 2015, 10 years. So, kind of crazy that both of these players are gone in the same week. It's not like they were traded, months earlier, or, whatever. This happened in the same week. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on for sure. And, definitely a surprising turn of events for the Dodgers with these, players being dumped on the same week, right? We go through the comments here. We got Tim Stewart saying the team is so frustrating, loses series to teams you should beat. Yeah, I mean, this is the I don't know what everybody thinks out there, but I think this is the most frustrating series loss of the 2025 season, right? It has to be. It has to be the most frustrating loss, in my opinion, because this team, come on, the way they lost against the Angels, it's basically unacceptable. The way they lost the series, because they should have won this series, right? I mean, come on, it's against the Angels at home at Dodger Stadium against an Angels team that's not going to go to the playoffs most likely. Their best player, Mike Trout, isn't even playing, and for them to get swept like this, it's something that's very alarming. And I don't know what everybody thinks, but I just don't know if this team, like, it's going to be hard to go back to back. Win the World Series back-to-back with the kind of pitching that they're having so far, right? I think things have to change. They have to change for the better, or I don't see the Dodgers going to the World Series again with the way the pitching is, right? I mean, last year they were able to get through it. They had the bullpen games. They had historic offensive numbers from players that you didn't expect. Tommy Edman was huge, and then Ohtani was really big in the NLDS too. He basically, hit that big home run against San Diego, which changed a lot of things. So yeah, will they have those kind of performances again in back-to-back playoffs? It's kind of hard to know, right? It's really going to be something that I think is going to be difficult to see if they actually can have that, right? Are they actually going to be able to get that in back-to-back years, right? Actually have, in back-to-back years, those kind of playoff numbers from the offense. It just seems kind of difficult for sure, right? I think it's going to be something that it's not going to be. It's going to be hard to repeat, right? Most years, most World Series winning teams, you have to have good starting pitching. You have to have elite pitching to win. The Dodgers have not had that the last couple years, outside of the bullpen, right? The bullpen has been one of the best for sure in baseball, but the starting pitching, it has been, a struggle for this team, right? So I really wonder if they could do it again. I don't know what everybody thinks. Can they actually win a World Series, go to a World Series again with the kind of pitching that they have? Guy Beer is saying the games were well played, great plays on both sides of the ball for both teams. Pitching rotation is struggling, and it shows by the struggling bullpen. Yeah, I mean, the bullpen has been overused, I think, too. I mean, you saw Anthony Banda yesterday. He looks, over. What do they say? He's thrown like 8 innings in the last week or so, right? That's way too much for a bullpen pitcher, right? He's had like four appearances where he's had to throw at least 2 innings this month, which is obviously way too much. So the bullpen has been way overused. It's been used up way too much with all the starting pitchers not going deep in games. And I think it's starting to show, right? I think it's definitely starting to show for the Dodgers. I think their bullpen is starting to look a bit tired. And that's going to be a big question mark. How can the Dodgers, how can they keep it up the whole year with the way the bullpen is being used, right? I mean, can they really sustain, right now they're a game ahead of San Diego and the Giants. Kind of crazy they're only a game ahead. San Diego could have easily been in first place, but I think they got swept by Seattle. And the Giants swept the A's, not Oakland anymore, right? They swept the A's over the weekend. So they gained 3 games on the Dodgers after the Dodgers got swept. That's why they're back in the race. But it's really close, right? It's May 19th, and basically all 3 teams have a realistic possibility of winning the division, right? All 3 teams, San Diego, the Giants, and the Dodgers, right? All 3. So it's that close. Obviously, I don't think it's going to be a 3-team race to the end, especially because we have so many games coming up. The Dodgers have yet to play either team, so that's going to say a lot. Got to play the Giants and Padres both next month. So next month, they're both coming to Dodger Stadium, if I'm not mistaken. I know the Giants are, and I think San Diego is as well a few days later. So both of these teams will be coming to the Dodger Stadium next month. So that's going to be an opportunity for the Dodgers to kind of push away from them if they can win those games. Or Giants and San Diego can, take control first, right? And the Dodgers could fall out. So that's going to be those are going to be huge games, I think in June. Very important games, especially the way how the season is going. It's this close, right? And the Dodgers have been dropping games, getting swept by the Angels. That's big. Every time you get swept, I think it's something definitely to keep an eye on. But we're taking your calls. We got the phone number up. If you want to call us up, we got the number there pinned on the chat. You go to the top of the chat there. You got the phone number there pinned to the comments. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, those 2 series are going to be super important to say the least. Giants and Padres both right on the Dodgers, right? That's going to be a big question mark. How the Dodgers can stay ahead, stay in first place. Last year, as we know, it came all the way down to the last week of the season between the Dodgers and San Diego. Those 2 teams were fighting out to the end, right? So it could happen again. It could be a dogfight all the way till the end of the season, which is not a bad thing, right? Because they kept the Dodgers ready for the playoffs, kept them competitive and in shape for the playoffs. Because some years, as we know, the Dodgers have been so far ahead that it didn't even matter, right? I mean, the Dodgers were games and games ahead that they were far and ahead away. So it didn't really matter how they played. But last year it did matter how they played. It was very important, all the games that they had to play, because San Diego was so close to them, right? We got let's go to the more comments here. We got Beer to say, I think Kershaw threw to rushing and likes him. No way Dodgers front office let Barnes go to future Hall of Fame without talks. Yeah, that's a good point, Bearded, because Kershaw did seem a bit surprised when they let Barnes go, right? I mean, he seemed like he was a bit shocked by the timing, but at the same time, I really would be surprised, like you're saying, if they actually let Barnes go, completely, right, without even saying anything, right? I mean, I think they probably spoke to Kershaw. That's a good point. Did they actually, did they tell him before they cut Barnes, right? I think that's a big, a good point there for sure. Roy says, hey, Dodger fans, keep everything in perspective. The World Series is not won in May. We cannot use last year's recipe and apply it to this year's path to the World Series. We must have 4 good and healthy starters going deep. Yeah, that's exactly right, Roy. I think you're spot on, Roy, because I think the Dodgers can't do the same thing that they did last year. I mean, I think that's something that everybody has to agree on. I know some fans out there probably don't agree with me, but yeah, I mean, I really think if you can't have 4 good starting pitchers, I think that's something that it's going to be really hard to win again, right? I think it's hard to even make the World Series. Imagine the Dodgers have to play late. See, here's another thing the Dodgers have to avoid, which they avoided last year, right? Last year, the Dodgers avoided the wild card round, right? Because they won their division, best division winner. So if they were to somehow fall into that wild card round this year, I think it's game over, right? Because the Dodgers would have to use 2 or 3 pitchers in that week prior to the NLDS, and that would signify at the end, right? Because the Dodgers might just have 2 or 3 pitchers again. So if they have to use them up in the wild card round, I mean, what are the chances they win the NLDS? So I think that's a big key as well. The Dodgers really have to avoid the wild card round, which they did last year. They were able to avoid it on the last week And I think this year it's gonna be probably the same thing again. They're gonna have to avoid that and win the division. Which I think if they win the division, they'll be in the top two because the league, the division is so good, right? It's the best division in baseball. So the winner of the NL West will likely have a bye, right? So I think that's a good point there as well. So yeah, the starting pitching has not been very good at all, and I think it's going to be interesting to see, how can the Dodgers kind of tread water for, the next, think about the next month or so. I think the Dodgers are going to be shorthanded, right? It looks like Glasnow, Snell, there's no timetable for the return, either of them. I would say it's looking like, probably June, July, we'll get an update with those guys, right? I highly doubt we'll see them this month or even early next month because we would have already gotten some updates. So it's going to be probably another few weeks before those guys get a chance to play. So how do the Dodgers, stay in first place with them out? Gonsolin having the cut on his finger, stayed in the game yesterday. It looked like he was going to come out after the first inning. He did not look, he looked hurt, right? Gonsolin did not look like his usual self after that injury, right? He definitely did not look his usual self. He looked like a guy that was really struggling out there, and I think it had to do with that, the cut for sure, right? So that's something to keep an eye on for sure as well with Gonsolin. If I don't think he'll miss any time, but we're gonna have to see how he feels in his next start for sure. But starting pitching has been the name of the game for the Dodgers. It's just been a struggle from not since the beginning, but the last 2 weeks have been really, really tough to watch. And something I think Dodgers have to fix eventually. They're gonna have to get some better pitching in the next few starts if they're gonna want to have a chance to stay in first place at this point, right? We got Beers saying it's too early to say if we even go to the playoffs, let alone the World Series. The Rockies came in turn. Well, I don't know about that, Beard. I don't know about the Rockies turning it around. I think the Rockies are done. They're having a historically worst start to the baseball season. Probably one of the worst starts ever in baseball history. They already fired the manager. So I don't think the Rockies are turning their season around. I think it's done. But I think we're going to go to the playoffs. I think we're a playoff team, Bearded. I really think, despite the struggles, I think everybody can agree the Dodgers are a playoff team. Maybe not if things really get bad. Maybe they'll be a wild card team, but they will be a playoff team, right? I think the NL. I think all three of these teams are going to the playoffs. Unless somebody starts slumping, which could happen, right? But I think the Giants, Padres, Dodgers. It looks like all three will be playing for the World Series, right? Two of them would be wild card teams, right? But I think all three could potentially go to the playoffs. I really think so. So that's something that definitely have to keep an eye on for sure. Because I think we're a playoff team. World Series though, it's hard to know. We don't know the matchups. It's so early right now. It's only May. And it's a long season. It's a very long season in baseball, to say the least. So, World Series, gotta wait and see. But let's go to the comments here. We got Roy saying we need to restock our bullpen and get relievers who can go and shut down opposing teams to allow us to hold the leader come from behind. No doubt we were making the playoffs. We must fill gaps now. Yeah, so I think, restocking the bullpen, it's tough to do that, in the middle of the season. Although the Dodgers are going to kind of get some opportunity to restock with the guys coming back, right? Michael Kopech coming back and also Blake Trinan. When those guys come back, I think that's going to help out a lot because it's going to obviously take out some of the guys they're using now. So, I think that injuries will help. When these guys get healthy, it's going to help out for sure, right? But we're taking your calls right now. If you want to call us up, we got the number right there in the chat. We got 719-359-4580. And after you call that number, you put the code 820-6181-1830 #. And basically, you'll be in the on the Dodgers Digest Monday morning show. So, taking your calls. You want to right today we don't have Brad, but whenever we get Brad back, we'll be taking your calls every Monday morning, talking to the fans for sure. But what else we got? We got just saying what's up with Banda and Vesia giving up home runs. Well, Banda has been overused, right? I mean, I think that's definitely the reason why Anthony Banda has not been his usual self. I mean, the guy has been pitching so much. He has been used quite a bit, and I think that's why he has not been very good, right? I think it's just over. I don't think he's hurt or anything. I mean, he just needs some time off. He needs, throwing 4 appearances with at least 2 innings in May. I think that's way too much for a relief pitcher in today's game, and I think that's what it is. There's too many innings for some of these guys, right? Too many innings that Dave Roberts and the Dodgers have kind of pushed on these relief pitchers. Roy Estrada saying more moves coming. We must be healthy August, September, and keep momentum and going to the playoffs. We must position ourselves to get 11 wins. We must get healthy sooner or later. Trades are must by August. Yeah, I think the Dodgers are going to probably make some moves. I don't know if they'll make as much moves as they made last year. I know last year I think they had more flexibility to make moves. I don't know if they have that same flexibility this year. We'll have to see, though, because I think it's hard to do it in back-to-back years, right? Trading prospects, getting the relievers, getting Jack Flaherty. We'll see if it happens. I don't know if we'll be as active this year at the trade deadline. I think we were very active last year, and for good reason. It led to a World Series championship, but I don't know if this year will be as active, because there might be less to give up, right? I mean, it's not like the Dodgers are going to trade Dalton Rushing away, right? I mean, that would be an example of a player that teams would be very interested if they want to give up one of their top pieces, right? They're not going to trade him away. They're not trading Ha-Seong Kim away. So they're not trading Chris Taylor away. Chris Taylor's gone. So some of these potential trade pieces, are no longer options. So that's going to kind of close the Dodgers in to not make probably a massive move. But we'll have to see, though. I mean, it's not impossible. The Dodgers have, one of the top farm systems in baseball, right? They have one of the best, if not the best, crop of talent coming through every year. So they have a lot of young players always coming through, guys that you never heard of, that teams are interested in, or guys that the Dodgers are able to build so they could be major league players. I mean, some of these teams really don't have, the kind of talent that the Dodgers have, and that's why they can't make the same kind of trades, right? So that's a big key there for sure as well. So we'll have to wait and see with the trade deadline. We got just going through the comments here. We got Beard is saying starting pitching has been a weakness for several years. We still managed to be a gangster. Yeah, I mean, I think starting pitching has been a weakness for several years. I think the offense has been extraordinary. The Dodgers have the best offense in baseball for sure, and I think that's carried them, especially this last World Series championship. It was the offense that was really on point, was really good, scored a lot of runs, and was able to make up for the bad pitching, right? So that's going to be, can they do it again back-to-back years? It's kind of hard to know, but Beard is saying that, yeah, probably not the Rockies. Yeah, the Rockies, I think, are definitely done. Rockies are not going anywhere, right? They will not be going to the playoffs this year. I mean, there's been so many kind of, like, Baltimore fired their manager, Pittsburgh fired their manager. Kind of crazy how some of these teams have had really bad starts, and these managers are getting fired really early, right? Which is not something you see every year in baseball, right? Not for sure at all. So we got Justy saying Dodgers just came off a long road trip, played a lot of games, and the whole pitching staff is over. Yeah, I mean, they came off a very long road trip, right? Was it 10 games in a row? And then they had to play. They played the Athletics Tuesday through Thursday, which they got 2 out of 3. They did lose the first one, but then Wednesday, Thursday took care of business against an Athletics team that's not very good. right? They ended up getting swept by the Giants this weekend. So yeah, they were just overused. The bull. I mean, we can't really criticize the bull. I mean, I think if you're criticizing some of these guys in the dog like Banda, Vesia, if you start criticizing or Yates, I mean, you really can't criticize these guys. These guys have been pitching so much this year that eventually it's just gonna, they're not gonna be their best, right? And I think yesterday, Banda giving up that home run in the 8th inning. He looked tired out there, right? He just did not seem his usual self. And, that led to that was the winning home run, right? I mean, the Dodgers tied up the game in the 7th with Will Smith getting that 3-run shot. And then it just kind of, it all fell apart, right, in the 8th inning. So I think that's a big thing to look at for sure, right? The bullpen has been overused, and it's something that, you're going to have to keep an eye on as we move along through the rest of the season, right? So the bullpen overusage is really something that, you have to keep an eye on. But we got Ray Guzman saying, I wouldn't be trading Dalton Rush. That would be a big mistake. Yeah, I don't think the Dodgers are trading Dalton Rushing. Rushing has the possibility to play the outfield as well, or maybe even eventually learn how to play first base. I mean, I think that's something that I don't think anybody's talked about, but I was thinking about this weekend watching Dalton on Saturday. What if Rushing becomes the Dodgers' future first baseman, right? I mean, Freddie Freeman has a couple years left, but to say he has like 5-6 years left, I think it's unlikely. So he has probably a couple good years left where he's a starting first baseman. After that, the Dodgers don't have a first baseman, so they could potentially make Dalton a first baseman just to get him in the lineup every day if they don't want to put him in the outfield, which he can play as well. But him being a catcher, I think he could learn the first base position, and I think it'd be interesting to see Dalton at first base. So that's something to keep an eye on as we move along in the years, right? Getting Rushing in the lineup. I think Rushing's got to be in the lineup every day eventually, especially if he becomes the hitter that the Dodgers hope he becomes, right? Because in the minor league level, Rushing has been an excellent hitter, right? He's been one of the Dodgers' top performers, top producers at the AAA level, hitting over 300 this year, right? So he's one of those players that the Dodgers are hoping is going to be like a really good asset, when it comes to the offense, right? I think that's what the Dodgers are really hoping for. So if they could, get him in the lineup every day, I think it'd be huge, to say the least. It'd be super important, right? And then we got Beard is saying, yeah, I see a lot of good in Rushing. Justin saying, Justin Yamas, with the offense they have, the money they spent, $500 million with luxury taxes, and the amount of high caliber talent they have, they owe it to themselves to make a trade at the deadline. Yeah, I mean, they have spent a lot of money. They will be trying to make a trade, but I'm just saying, I think they were last year. They were so active. I mean, they traded some assets last year to get the players they have now. Well, Flaherty's gone, but the players they used last year. So I don't know. I just think that they're going to be a little bit hesitant again to do that. I think you do it in back-to-back years, you're kind of giving up a little bit too much, right? I really do think so. But for those that are hopping on, maybe this is the first time you're seeing Dodgers Digest. Maybe the algorithm sent you this way. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I want to thank everybody who has already subscribed, so make sure to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and also taking your calls as well. We got the phone number right there at the top. It's 719-359-4580. And after you call up, you just got to put the code in, 820-6181-1830, pound, and you'll be on the call. So, got the phone number right there if you want to join me here on this Dodgers Digest morning show. We got just saying, I was thinking Rush should be taught third base Muncy's last year. Yeah, Rushing could learn third base as well. That's another key point. Good idea with that because, Muncy is on his way out. Will the Dodgers try to get Nolan Arenado? I think that's another point as well. I think the Dodgers are still have hope that they get Nolan. I think they haven't, given up hope yet, right? So I think they're still hoping to get Nolan Arenado. But rushing could learn third base. That'd be also interesting as well. Samurai Beast Warrior saying, Dodgers better win tonight. Yeah, I think the Dodgers better get it tonight playing the D-backs, right? Better find a way to get a dub tonight playing against the D-backs team that's been, they're not terrible. I'm not saying they're bad. The Dodgers split. I mean, they played the D-backs a couple weeks ago, and they didn't win the series. They had to split. So they won 2, lost 2 out at Chase Field. So it wasn't that easy. So this 3-game set out of Dodger Stadium is going to be, probably a challenge. It's probably going to be a bit of a challenge. Tonight, the Dodgers have Landon Knack going. Tomorrow, Yamamoto. And then Wednesday, got Dustin May again. Kind of crazy. Dustin May, pitched just a few days ago, right? Seems. But going to have to go again. So that's going to be interesting to see how Dustin May does on that short rest in some, was it 5 days, right? So, Knack tonight, Yamamoto tomorrow. Knack hasn't been the best either. 5.89 ERA. Wow, that's not very good. And Yamamoto hasn't looked too good either his last couple starts. So, yeah, I mean, Dodgers got to win these games, right? I think they really got to get these W's. Yeah, I mean, I really think they got to find a way to get some wins here for sure. Roy saying our farm system is staffed. We can make trades by not giving up our star prospects. We trade for Kopech and Edman. So, yeah, trade, the Dodgers will definitely be, trying to get some, so there'll be a bunch of rumors as we get closer to the deadline for sure, and we'll be covering here on the channel. So, they can make a trade. Samurai saying we need to make a trade. Roy saying we need to trade is a must. Quick fix. Everybody wants to make trades, right? I think everybody wants to make trades. Samurai Beast Warrior saying bring back Trey Turner to L.A. Trey Turner. That guy was really fun to watch. I really like Trey Turner. He was super fun. Remember seeing him. I even have his bobblehead at home. I have the Trey Turner bobblehead. I can't remember what year it was when they gave those out, but I think it was 21 or 22. But definitely a fun player. He was really fun to watch. He's a great fielder, good hitter as well. So yeah, that'd be super crazy if he was back on the team. But I want to thank everybody who's hopping on the stream for the first time. Thanks everybody for watching. If you're seeing this for the first time, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video. And also, we got the number there at the top if you want to get on the show, right? If you want to be a caller. We took some calls last Friday, but if you want to hop on the show, we got the phone number right there at the top of the, if you go to the top of the chat, we got the number right there. And then you just got to put a code in, and you can hop on the call on the Dodgers Digest live stream. We got, what else we got? We got Roy Estrada saying Knack is pitching tonight, so offense must score a lot of runs to win. Yeah, I think we know that, right? I think with the way Knack's season's been going with the ERA that he's having, the Dodgers are going to have some run support for Knack, for Landon, right? I think if the Dodgers don't give him any run support, it's definitely going to be, rough for sure, right? I think they can't not give him any run support. So I think that's something that the Dodgers are going to have to, for sure tonight, do, right? Going to have to score some runs early. Try to take the lead early. I think that's a big key as well. Not fall behind. It's always tough in baseball when you don't score the first run, it seems, right? I think the first run is super important. It's not talked about enough. So that's something I think we're going to have to keep an eye on for sure tonight. Then Bearded says, Trey Turner wants to be on the East Coast. That's why he left L.A. It's a good point. Bearded also saying, how about Pajes' performance lately? Yeah, I mean, it's been, of course, Andy Pajes going 0 for 4 yesterday. Rough day. He's just been inconsistent, right? Inconsistent for sure, to say the least, for the Dodgers. 0 for 4 yesterday. And then on Saturday, Andy Pajes, had a couple hits, solid day, 3 RBIs. So that, he's had, good days and bad days for sure. So I think he's a player the Dodgers are, not going to be trading away, I think, now. I think after the little spurt that he had, even though, like I said, inconsistent off and on, I don't think they'll be trading him away. So, yeah. We got MP saying Trey prefers the East Coast, but him and his wife were considering staying in L.A., but Dodgers never offered him anything, never bothered calling him. He said himself, yeah. I think that was a big story. I remember back when that happened. Dodgers didn't really give him an offer. But at the same time, there was a lot of rumors, like people were saying that he didn't want to stay on the West Coast. So I think that's why the Dodgers didn't probably aggressively go after him. Most likely the case, right? But, definitely I think playing on the West Coast, East Coast, it's a big, big difference, right? Super big difference. We got Ryan Pepiot traded for Tyler Glasnow, not looking like a good move. Glasnow cannot stay off the IL. He's great when healthy, but Pepiot is simply more valuable on the field, being effective in Tampa Bay. Yeah, at this time, Glasnow has not been very good, right? He hasn't been able to stay on the IL. It's been frustrating. I mean, he hasn't been able to stay healthy, I should say. He's been on the IL. So that's been definitely super frustrating to watch. But just going through the comments here. Got Justice saying only one World Series with Glasnow on the roster to pitch well in the regular season. Yeah, well, I think it's something to keep an eye on for sure with this season, how the Dodgers can overcome having Glasnow and Snell both on the shelf, right? I mean, both of them are on the shelf right now. How long can they go with both of those guys, hurt, right? I mean, I think that's going to be the big question mark. With two guys, two of their star pitchers injured, how much does that affect the team, right? I think that's something that is going to be something to keep an eye on as we move along in the next few weeks for sure, right? Because it's not going to be easy. I don't think it's easy to have both of these guys. The Dodgers are not going to come out and say it, but I think it's definitely something that they're concerned about, having both of them out, right? But yeah, if you comment below if you want to, what's on your mind. We're talking the Quarters Dodger baseball. This week, the Dodgers are taking on the D-backs for 3 straight out of Dodger Stadium starting today. And then Thursday, they got to fly all the way to New York. Think about it. They got to go all the way back to the East Coast again to take on the Mets for 3 starting Friday, Saturday, Sunday are national TV games. And then Monday through Wednesday, they got to go to Cleveland. So going to be on the East Coast again next week. Then they got to come back and play the Yankees. So kind of a crazy stretch of games, to say the least, at the end of May. It's not going to be easy. I think they have a lot of, tough games the next few weeks, right? So we got Just saying, look at Glasnow's career record and time not healthy. Would you have made this move? I was scratching my head on. Yeah, I don't know. I think we've talked about this too with Andrew Friedman having a personal connection with Tyler Glasnow. I think that's why the Dodgers have him as well. I think if the Dodgers didn't have Andrew Friedman, they would not have Glasnow on this team. I think Andrew Friedman had a lot to do with getting Tyler Glasnow with the Dodgers. Same with Blake Snell, right? Both of these guys coming over, former Rays players, both of them. And Freeman, as we know, used to work for the Rays. Then Justin saying Pepiot is a number 4 starter, always injured in LA. Anytime you have a transfer to 4 starter, for an ace, you do it. That's logic. Yeah, I mean, Glasnow, I think, was brought to the Dodgers to be a Dodgers ace, right? I think that's he's not here to be a 4 starter or to be on the IL. He's been just hurt. He can't stay healthy. With Glasnow not being able to stay healthy, I think it really makes things, much more complicated for the Dodgers, right? I think that's the big key, him not staying healthy. And we got Justin saying, if you ask me December 23 before the deal, man, I'd have Glasnow on the mound in the playoffs than Pepiot. Yeah, I mean, anybody would rather have Glasnow, but the problem is this guy can't stay healthy, right? I mean, if he can't stay healthy, it's going to it's going to come out being not a good, acquisition, right? I think if things don't turn out the way they want, he doesn't, maybe never. It's kind of like when the Dodgers got Carl Crawford, right? I mean, that ended up being, sure, they got Adrian Gonzalez, but the Crawford aspect was he never really stayed healthy, right? He never was a contributor for the Dodgers. And that's unfortunately how it goes. If guys can't stay healthy, they're not going to contribute. And Glasnow has not been a player the Dodgers can rely on so far. But yeah, we're taking your calls here. We're going to be wrapping this up pretty soon. We got the phone number there at the top. We got 719-359-4580. You call us up there, or you got to call that number first. And then you got to put the code in after that. You got to put the code 820-618-1830 #, and then basically you're in after that. But just giving out that phone number there if you want to join the conversation live, like on a radio show, right? We got what else we got? MP saying I wish they would trade for Nolan, but sadly I don't think they're interested. There's an article that came out this weekend claiming the Dodgers are interested in Ryan. Yeah, I don't know about the interest in Ryan. I think the Dodgers are really interested in Nolan. I think they are. I think the Dodgers are interested in Nolan Arenado. I think they just haven't been able to make that trade happen. But I really think that's their target. Just the Cardinals, I think, haven't been willing to make that trade happen. I think the Cardinals really don't want to trade, another player to the Dodgers. They already traded Edman, and they don't want to do that. I think that's the big question mark, right? I mean, do the Cardinals really want to trade another player to the Dodgers, right? I think that's going to be the big key. We got Justin Yamamoto saying we got King Ralphie saying, which starting pitcher will be available at the deadline? Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the big question mark, right? There were some rumors with Sandy Alcantara, right? But he's not been very good this year. I think the options this year are a little more limited in comparison to last year. I mean, last year you had Jack Flaherty and Tarek Skubal. I don't know. I don't think Skubal signed a contract yet. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong on that. But maybe Skubal again is available. Let's see. Got yeah, that's going to be a big question mark. Which starting pitcher is available at the deadline? That's going to be an interesting, story for sure. Because the Dodgers to get some, elite starting pitcher to go along with all the players that are currently injured. I think that's going to be the big key, right? Because the Dodgers really, have so many injuries right now that, they're probably going to have to try to get another starting pitcher, right? Or at least get another bullpen arm with all the usage they've had. Just a lot of different question marks for sure. And all because of injuries, right? I mean, I think it's all because if the Dodgers didn't have these injuries, I think we'd be having another conversation right now. I think we'd be talking about the Dodgers having a 5 or 10 game lead right now. Maybe not 10 games. That's a bit too much, but let's just say the Dodgers would probably be ahead by 5 games, right? I think they'd be ahead by 5 games. Right now they're only a game ahead. So I think they'd be ahead by 5 if they didn't have the injuries. I think that's something that's what I think would that would be the big. I think that would be where they'd be at right now. I think the injuries have pushed the team back, and have made things closer. I think that's why things are closer right now because of the injuries, and that's going to be what we're going to have to see. But yeah, I want to thank everybody who's hopped on the stream today. It's like some more of you are hopping on. If you're seeing this stream for the first time, make sure to hit the subscribe button. We do this every Monday morning here on this channel, talking Dodgers baseball. And taking your calls today, although nobody wanted to call today, but we got a phone number right there, 719-359-4580. We're going to use this number every Monday. and then you just put the code in 820-6181-1830 £, and you'll basically be on the call. What else we got? MP saying every time we play a former Dodger, they seem to haunt us, but Ohtani can't even hit against his former team. Yeah, well, I mean, Ohtani had some good moments this weekend. It wasn't like he played terrible. But yeah, it seems like Travis Deonard. How do you say his name? I can't even pronounce his name. But anyway, Travis, the catcher on the Angels, right? The former Dodgers player. They traded after one day. Ends up hitting a home run, right? First home run of the season. Kind of crazy. Paul saying, good job, Mike. Appreciate it, Paul. Justin Yama saying, yeah, getting swept to an Angels team that didn't even have Hollywood lifestyle is embarrassing. Yeah, I mean, the Angels, as we know, are, they'll always be second fiddle to the Dodgers, right? I think that's, there's no discussion there. I mean, come on. You turn on any sports station in LA, nobody's talking about the Angels, right? They just talk about the Dodgers. So that's always going to be there. That won't change. They'll never be us. That's for sure. We got Justin saying, remember some dude from the Angels didn't want to sign her because we were too Hollywood for him. Which player was that, Justin? And then offense was good and pitching was bad. Yeah, the pitching was super bad this weekend. Super bad. Starting pitching was a disaster. Offense, was good to a certain point, but could have been better. A lot of offers. The Angels had some good pitching too, right? I mean, Kikuchi was pretty solid for them, and Kahanovic was solid as well on Friday. So it wasn't like the Angels had bad pitching too. So they had, I think there was some, that contributed to the Angels' wins. They had some good pitching, and the Dodgers just didn't have it. Paul saying the Angels have one pennant and one World Series title. That's it. That's right, Paul. Just one World Series championship and one pennant. And think about it, they've been playing for 60 years, the Angels. Kind of nuts. The Dodgers have how many pennants, how many World Series in that time, right? So, I'm just talking about that time alone, right? So everybody criticizes it, saying, it's been so long since the Dodgers have been good. But come on. I mean, even in the last 60 years where the Dodgers haven't been that successful, we've still been more successful than the Angels, right? So, I think that's a big stat there as well. King Ralphie saying, great live. Keller from Pittsburgh or Peralta. Yeah, I think Keller would be good. Appreciate it, King Ralphie. MP saying, about to get swept by the D-backs. I don't know about that. I don't think we're getting swept. I think we're going to get some wins in this series. I don't think we'll be getting swept. So I think here's my prediction for this series. Boy, this is gonna be tough because the pitching has not been good. We're definitely not gonna win all three. I know we're dropping at least one. I'm really close to saying the Dodgers are just gonna get 1 out of 3, but since this is the Dodgers channel, I'm gonna say 2 out of 3. Dodgers get 2 out of 3 because then you guys go nuts if I say only 1 out of 3. But let's say the Dodgers are gonna win 2 out of 3. This against the D-backs, and then this weekend against the Mets. I don't know. I'm pretty concerned about that series. I think that's going to be a tough one out of New York. Even though the Mets haven't been very good, but playing in New York is always tough. That's going to be a big question mark for sure. I think that's playing out there in New York is going to be tough, and next few days we'll see. But I want to thank everybody for watching the stream today. Appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and as always, let's go Dodgers. Woo!